Hello everyone, welcome back to Faithful Freedom Mama. My name is Mayla and today we'll be going over 3 tips I've used to grow long hair. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start at number 3 and make my way down to number 1. So let's go ahead and start with number 3. And number 3 is to pick a hair journey and be confident in it. So one thing that I want everyone to know is that this channel is not just for people who are natural. It's anyone who has a desire to have long hair. And so the reason why I say pick a hair journey and be confident is because one thing that I talked about on my first video is that you know what season you're in and you know what you can and cannot handle. And sometimes that spirit of comparison can delay your goals because you are so focused on everyone else that you forget to focus on yourself. And so I'm going to use myself as an example. I'm going to talk about the hair perspective and then I'm going to give you another example so you can better understand tip number 3. Okay. So for example, with my hair, although I'm natural, I'm heat trained. Okay. My hair is heat trained. And so what that means is basically due to me blow drying my hair, or technically it's not just from blow drying, me getting like a silk press. Although I do it only twice a year, due to the type of like hair strands I have, my curls have like loosened up, right? And so the reason why I want to say this is because I used to, like when I would go get my hair straightened, although it was perfect for my season, again, I know y'all know that I have kids and they take, the oldest one, she has hair just like me and it's down to her butt. And so what I had to recognize is that I was so focused on what society was saying about how I should wear my hair, that, if I put any heat on it, it's not natural. And that the thing is that it's okay for them to have that opinion. And I think sometimes we let things that people say get to us in a way that we're altering our goals, right? And so what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to start maneuvering your goals or the things that you desire to do based off everyone else, because you know what that means? You're seeking approval from them, and instead of seeking approval from yourself and God only, you're opening up that door, which will lead you to delaying your goal because you're constantly changing things that you're doing, not even changing how you feel about your hair, right? When I first started heat training my hair and I talked to my beautician about it, I felt some type of way a little bit because I was like, oh man, in this community of our hair, like, it makes it seem like you are no longer like representing who you are because you're heat training. And although I can see that opinion, I had to tell myself, you know what, Mayla, no, you're doing this because you care about yourself, but you also care about your children. And it takes over a day for me to do both of my older daughter's hair. So I was like, how can I alter my journey so that I'm still keeping my thickness, because the relaxant, me relaxing my hair stripped my hair. And so that's what I came up with. It was something I discussed with my beautician and I am perfectly okay with it, right? And now look at the growth that I have just by me saying, you know what, Mayla, you're doing this for yourself and no one else, okay? Another example is breastfeeding. So if you're a mom or a mom, you know that a lot of people will say breastfeeding is better, right? But what a lot of people do is they talk based off of their circumstance instead of putting themselves in other people's shoes. So yes, for me, I have 3 daughters again. And guess what? I tried breastfeeding with 2 of them and I was somewhat successful, but with one of them, I just couldn't do it. And it goes back to when I first made the decision to do it with my first child. I started it and I, due to postpartum and just going through a lot, it was too much on me to still keep life or still be able to pour in my cup the way that I needed to take care of her if I kept breastfeeding. And so that's what I'm saying. That's such a good example because although that maybe an option might be the best one, I quote unquote, it's not about that. It's about saying, this is the best option for me. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into tip number 2. And that is learn how to manage your hair in a healthy way. And what I mean by that is I'm going to get straight into an example. So let me ask you this. Let's say you have a parent who's paying for your rent, right? and let's see, I'm just making up an example, and they pay for your rent monthly. And so what your goal is by next year, you want to buy a house. So you have to keep your credit clean. You know what you would do if you are smart about your journey? Although you're working, you would save your money just in case what, right? Just in case your parents can't pay for your bills anymore, because what you did was, or if you don't do that, you're putting your goal in someone else's hand. And so I noticed, like, again, I'm talking from my own personal experience. In the beginning of my journey, I was so depending on whoever was doing my hair, that if something happened, like let's say they cancel, due to a family situation, or I had to cancel because my child got sick or something. Now I'm in the mirror looking crazy, just doing whatever to it because of my appointment being canceled, right? And so my thing is, I said to find a healthy way, or learn to manage your hair in a healthy way. It's because it doesn't necessarily mean you have to get on YouTube, spend a whole day braiding your hair, which is something that I've done before. So even if you do that, that's okay. But I just want you to be in a place where you could put your hair in some type of style, what it likes, right? So that, let's say, an appointment is canceled, what to do to your hair to protect it until you can get to that person, right? Because even with the pandemic, that taught us that you just never know when life is going to hit. And so I know for me, I experienced a lot of breakage when I couldn't get to my beautician years ago because I didn't learn about my own, what my hair likes. So I was unable to protect it, just threw something in my head, or I found like a quick appointment or something like that online. And, when I look back, I'm like, man, I wish I never did that, because again, you are trying to protect your hair so that it can grow. And so the best thing that you can do is to learn your hair, right? Because that way, when you are going to find a new beautician, then you know what your hair likes and what it doesn't like, right? So just learn your hair, learn how to manage it. It doesn't have to be a fancy style, but it's just more of, you just don't want to put something important to you in someone else's hand, right? Just in case life happens to them, you're still able to keep moving forward. All right, y'all. So the last tip is so important. I said like 50 so's because I really want you to pay attention to this. I always say I've saved the best for last, and that is renew your mind. And I know you're like, okay, Mela, well, what do you mean by that? So I'm going to keep using myself because I've been here. And what happens is, although you may not be speaking life or death to your hair verbally, and sometimes we do that too, whatever's in your heart and whatever's in your mind, that's going to affect how you take care of your hair. And so for me, one thing that I had to do with renewing my mind, I had to uproot things that I've used to hear. And so you would hear Black girls can't grow hair, or if they did, they have to be mixed with something where that other ethnicity, I guess, has longer hair, right? Or, even just being chocolate, I heard, being dark chocolate or milk chocolate, you can't get long hair, your hair is not going to grow. And so I used to think that, I just was like, what, I can't, what's the point? It's not going to go anywhere, right? And so when I say renew your mind, it's that you have to uproot every thought in your mind that someone else planted about yourself and about your journey, because that is going to affect how you take care of your hair. And so, like, for me, I just don't want, or what happened is I let, just like the tip number 3, sometimes you let society, what they say on songs, what they put on TV, what you see in ads affect how you feel about yourself, right? And so I just don't want you all to delay a goal that you are capable of accomplishing because of what you see, or because of what you tell yourself on the inside. So y'all, just do your part. As soon as you hear something negative in your mind, and it's not positive about your hair journey, regardless of how long it takes, I need you to cancel that thing real quick, because I know, that you can do it. All right, everyone. So those are my 3 tips. And I just hope that spoke to someone, because I know that a lot of videos I've seen, they talk about things that you physically can do for your hair, which is very important. But sometimes there's those little things that you don't know influences how you see yourself and influences your hair journey. And so whether you're relaxed, whether you have locks, whether you're natural or natural and heat trained, right? Like how my hair is, you be confident with whatever choice you made, because this is your life, right? And I'm gonna leave you with a question that you need to ask yourself, because I think this is a really important question to ask so that you know you're on the right journey for yourself. Is if you didn't care about what people thought, you didn't have social media, what hair journey would you choose? Whatever that is, I want you to move forward in that direction, and just know that you, because it's your life, you can change it, right? So right now I'm heat trained. You never know. Or actually my goal is, when I get a little bit older, I do want to get locks, because I just have so much hair and it takes so much time, right? But that's my life. And so sometimes people start giving you advice that you didn't ask for, and I don't want those things to plant seeds in your heart or in your mind, deterring you from something that should be a happy experience, a happy journey, right? And I just want you to be set free in that area, because this journey for me, it became a lot easier when I just stopped caring about what everybody else said. Okay. And it's okay to take advice, right? It's okay for someone to say, you know, girl, you should try it. But yes, that's perfectly fine. But when you have people around you that's being a little bit forceful and making you feel down about yourself, you don't need that. So if you got to unfollow them, if you got to stop talking to that person about what you're doing with your hair, if you have to cancel that, you do what you need to do, because it's not about them. It's about you and you being set free. All right, y'all have a good one, and I look forward to recording my next video. By the way, I am getting a silk press, hopefully. And so with that, I am going to share that experience with you all, and I look forward to posting that video next time. All right, y'all, bye. I hope y'all have a good one.